lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather and this is The Happenings with HAP. HAP meaning my initials. So after what felt like a decade, we are finally on the cusp, almost there, of being done with 2020 and going into 2021. Hooray! And with the coming of 2021, we are now looking forward to resolutions, ideally things getting better, professionally, personally, financially, whatever. If you are anything like me, as well as other booktubers, bookstagrammers, what have you, you also have resolutions in regards to your reading. So that's what this video is about. It's going to be my 2021 reading resolutions. If you have not already and you don't want to go into the new year not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below, ring the bell. With that being said, here are my reading resolutions for 2021. So I pretty much always do the Goodreads reading challenge every year. It's kind of like a basic challenge that I do. And for this year, I am setting my goal at 52 books. Pretty standard. I'll probably be able to do more, but I don't like to have a huge number over my head of trying to read for reading's sake instead of just reading for fun. So 52 seems like a pretty good balance of what I'm able to do comfortably. That number will probably end up being more by the end of the year, but I just like 52 as like a nice, good, doable number for someone that works a full-time job as well as does this on the side. So I don't have a lot of time, and I'm thankfully able to supplement my reading via audiobooks on my commute. So that's really the main way that I'm able to read as many books as I am able to read in a year. This is my number. There are booktubers that read way more in a year. I don't know how they do it, but they do. And then there are some that don't maybe want to read that much. If you are someone that is only a casual reader and you only read 12 books in a year, you read 12 books in a year. That's amazing. If you only read one book in a year, you still read something. So please don't compare your reading goals to mine. They are your own goals, as they should be. And as long as you're reading something, even if it's a magazine or articles, whatever interests you, read it and do it, and don't feel ashamed that you didn't reach some sort of arbitrary number on a challenge in an app, is all I'm gonna say about that. The next resolution I have for myself is to start tackling my bookshelf. I will probably try to insert some footage of my bookshelf so you can kind of see what I have I'm working with. Because of my commute and how I work, audiobooks are the main way that I usually read within a given year. Like, the majority of my books that I read are audiobooks. But I also do like reading physical books, and I do have a lot of physical books behind me that I have not read yet once. If you've watched my Left on the Shelf series, you know it's very sad and it's very shameful, but it's the fact. So this year I do want to try to, at least at the very bare minimum, read one book a month that comes from my shelf. However long that may be, however long that may take, at least if I start one each month, then I will most likely get through at least 12 books that are on this shelf behind me, which I think is a pretty doable goal. If I can do 2, great, but again, I don't want to put an arbitrary number on myself and then not do it and feel bad. So that's kind of the goal, doing one book a month that is going to come from my bookshelf in a physical format. My next resolution is a resolution that I started in 2020, obviously when I started my channel, and I've been pretty solidly doing for 2020, which is really great. And that is continuing to make sure that my reading is diversified by reading Own Voices Lit. I found some great writers that I really love because of that. And it's been a conscious effort on my part to make sure that I'm not siloing myself, however subconscious it may have been or not, into just reading, you know, cis white authors. That is also another goal of mine. And like I said, I've been keeping to it very well by doing the at least once a month method. For the majority of the months of this year, I've been doing that, so that's really great. And I want to continue that into 2021 as well. If you watched my 2021 most anticipated releases video, there are a bunch on there that I am definitely interested in, and will definitely be obviously keeping to this goal as best as I can. Essentially, I'm reading things that I want to read regardless of who wrote them, but I'm also expanding my avenues for having that content shown to me. So that included following accounts and booktubers that are of different race, genders, sexualities than me, so that then I can really pull from their recommendations and find things that I really like. So that's how I've been consciously doing that. And if you have not done that, it's definitely one I recommend that you try to do as well, because there are some amazing pieces of literature that, unfortunately, with how we sometimes can silo ourselves on social media, you might miss. If I can in any way help to amplify those authors or stories stories, I will try to, but at the same time, you should follow all the wonderful creators that also make this type of content, because I'm a cis-het white woman. I am not special. So make sure that you diversify who you follow on social media. My kind of last big goal for my reading in 2021 is to finally get to the series that I've been meaning to read for a long time, but have kind of put on the back burner, either because their last books weren't out yet or I got distracted by something else and whatnot. So I'm trying to tackle those series and finally finish them this year. And I have a bunch. Will I get to all these this year? I hope so. Maybe not, depending on new stuff that comes out, but I'm gonna do my damnedest to try. This one is basically just a more of a hope to TBR, if you will. They're all books that I've been wanting to read, but just have not gotten around to them for one reason or another. First up, I do want to finally finish the damn His Dark Materials series. I have talked about these books in a bunch of videos already about how I was going to finish them and whatnot, but it still didn't happen. I read book 1, loved it. I still have to read The Subtle Knife and The Amber Spyglass. I want to finish these things because I really, really, really want to watch the HBO television show that I still have not watched because I have not read this. That got renewed for a 3rd and final season. Don't know when it's coming out, but you can be damn sure I will have finally finished this series by the time it comes out, because I just can't keep doing this to myself anymore. So of all the series that I'm going to mention, this is one I will get done because it will also satisfy the books that are on my shelf that still need to be read. So yes, this is a big one I want to try to finish. The next big one I want to finish was reignited by the fact that Netflix is going to be doing a series adaptation in April for it. So I want to have read this series, and that is Leigh Bardugo's Grisha series. The Shadow and Bone trilogy, the Six of Crows duology, the King of Scars duology, I believe. I've heard amazing, amazing things about all of them on BookTube for all these years, and they literally are sitting on my computer waiting to be read. Like, I have them, I just have actually not read them yet, but they're there. So I have really no excuse to not have read them yet, because damn it, I want to read them and be in the know like everyone else, because everyone loves Leigh Bardugo and I've literally never read a single novel she's written. And as a booktuber, that's probably really bad. So I want to finish them. I want to watch the show. I want to have opinions by having read them and watched the show. I have till April. If I can finish the Shadow and Bone trilogy during that time, I will have it be really fresh, so it'll be a nice comparison. So maybe I can do another Is the Adaptation Worth It video, since I've only done one of those for Emma. Hopefully I can actually do that. Another one that I'm wanting to read that will probably end up being maybe like a fall type of read, because it's giving me fall vibes, is the Truly Devious series. The 4th book, which might be the last book, I'm not even sure, of the series, is going to be released this year. And again, I've heard amazing things about this series. The only time I've read Maureen Johnson was in the short stories she's written for the Shadowhunter anthology books, and I really enjoyed her writing, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this. It's just a series that I've been hearing so much on BookTube, and I want to read it so bad. I can find them all in audiobook very easily, so that is a better incentive for me to read them. Next series I want to read in 2021 is the Scythe series by Neal Shusterman. I have the first book, as you can see. If you've watched anything of my channel, you know that I'm a sucker for paperbacks. I'm kind of waiting for the 3rd one to be released as a paperback. I've heard amazing things about this dystopian series, and the last dystopian I really read was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so it was a Hunger Games novel. I want to expand my horizons with more dystopian because I do enjoy it, and this sounds amazing, and I want to finally actually read it. And again, this should satisfy my goal of reading something off my bookshelf. I am hoping to start and finish this series this year. The next series I'm hoping to read was also pulled from my bookshelf, and I actually just got the 2nd book as a Christmas gift to myself, and that is the Villains duology by V.E. Schwab. I've heard amazing things about this series. Essentially, if you are a fan of like X-Men and stuff like that, you'll love this, and I am, so I'm hoping to get this done. I fell in love with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, so now I'm kind of on a kick of wanting to read more of her works again. This has been sitting on my shelf for a while. It's only 2 books, like it's a duology. Plus it was pulled from my shelf. So again, it would satisfy another goal that I have. And speaking of V.E. Schwab, I do want to read her Shades of Magic series. That is also an adult series, and I've heard amazing things about that series as well. That was kind of the one that put her on the map as far as like fantasy. But yeah, I'm hoping to also knock that series out as well. The last series I want to get to is technically a reread. Basically, half of it would be a reread, the other half would be new reading. And that is The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. As you can see, this is a mass market paperback, old as hell. I've read the first 6 books Oh, so I've technically read 7. Aside from those, she's been continuing this series for a long ass time, and I just have not picked it up again. I definitely want to finally finish this series at least up to date to what she has. I haven't read this since high school, so that was a long time ago. So I do want to do a reread of these. I'll probably do that via audiobook because then I can knock out a bunch a lot faster. It's something I've been wanting to do forever. I adore this series. It's one of my favorite series of all time. In the chronological storytelling, I've never read past Menach the Devil. So I have absolutely no idea what was going on. And this seems like the perfect year to probably do it because why not, really? So those are all of my reading resolutions for 2021. I try to keep things a bit broad strokes because I don't like to put any type of pressure on myself because I very rarely get reading slumps. In the last few years, I've not had a reading slump, so I want to keep it that way. There's so many new releases that I want to read in 2021, but I also want to keep getting to my backlisted books, which I usually do a pretty good mix of both, usually more backlisted than anything else. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I'm sure I'll be able to for 2021, but I feel like if I put it out into the universe, it is much more likely to happen. Let me know down below some of your 2021 reading resolutions if you have any, or if you are just free-spirited and go with the flow, more power to you, that's great. And if you know of any other series that you think I should read based on my reading tastes, let me know down below as well so I can add that more to my TBR. This is never gonna end, guys. With that, I hope you have a fantastic new year, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.